just brush up on.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, relationships and situations. So, do you have a podcast, or what's the story, backstory?
I do not have. I'm actually driving Uber right now, and
Okay,
yeah. So
that's pretty cool. Are you doing this through the Anchor system, or how are we connecting right now?
I'm on Anchor right now. Yes.
You're on Anchor right now. Okay, that's super cool. And where are you exactly?
I am in Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, yeah, apart from like in your car, obviously, right?
Yeah,
Atla-
yeah.
Atlanta, Georgia. Okay, that's super cool. I'm based in Slovakia, Banska Bystrica. That's right in the heart of Europe, and
Nice.
so I'm coming from there right now. It's pretty cool that this technology allows us to connect basically halfway across the planet. That's
That's
pretty amazing.
yeah.
So you wanna give me a question or a story, or how do you want to kick off this conversation?
Well, I guess I could start with a small brief.
Okay, that's
I
cool.
was I was in a relationship for about 7 years,
Hmm.
off and on. I could say it was pretty strong. It started off. Uh, I was at a young age. She was a couple of years older than I was,
Hmm.
and it seemed more like puppy love now that I think about it. But um,
Hmm.
I'm 31 now, so
Hmm.
it was over the past 7 years I've been dealing with this person, and what I think a lot of people need to understand is love is very blind, um,
Hmm.
and it can alter your judgment. It's almost like a drug. It could make you do things you don't want to do, and after the whole situation of 7 years, uh, she left
Hmm.
multiple times and came back. Just recently, her mother got in contact with me, um,
Uh-huh.
saying that her mother told me that she missed me. So I was like, okay, that's a bit. That's it's okay. I appreciate it. Uh,
Well, so is this a relationship where you've broken up, or it's you don't know what the situation is?
part of the situation was she wanted to be an artist in
Okay.
the music business. So she got with this guy who actually got signed by Eminem. Uh,
Okay.
and I get the guy's from her hometown. Now I don't know if they've ever had any type of sexual relation, but it's quite possible. Uh,
Hmm.
and when he took off, she does poetry, so she was in a lot of his albums or CDs or whatever the case may be. And I assume she felt like she was about to make it big in the industry,
Hmm.
which didn't happen, obviously, because nobody really knows who she is. And she left. She wanted to have fun.
Well, uh, that's that's hard. It's hard when you're together with someone for a longer period of time, and they decide that maybe they want to maybe they want to move on. Um,
Yeah.
so, and how does this make you feel at the moment about things? Are you sad that she's gone, or are you happy that you've got space to yourself, or is it a mixture? What's it on your side?
It's definitely a mixture of different feelings. It's been about a year now uh, since we've actually. Uh, I'm not going to say actually spoke because we spoke recently,
Hmm.
but it's been about a year since we've been in a relationship together. Um, at the moment, I think about her because I was in love with her. I still love her, still have feelings for her, and I was part of her child's life as well. So
Hmm.
I still have feelings for her child. I still have feelings for her whole family. I mean, we were pretty cool despite what happened between me and her. But I'm comfortable. I've dealt with other women in this
Hmm.
year, and it's crazy how how so many different women want to talk to you. It's not really about a relationship. They just kind of, in America, and especially where I live at, the women are very free and open to giving you their body for little to nothing, or you buy them something and they give it up.
Do you think that's is that good or bad from your perspective?
That's terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible, because the women have subjected themselves to the dollar and objects, and they just like, okay, well, if you buy me something, then you can have whatever, you can have my body, and then I'll move on to the next guy. I don't really want to be in a relationship. I just want things. So they don't really know what love is.
Well, they're in general, a man brings resources into a relationship. This is in general, of course, and a woman brings the element of perhaps the possibility of family and things into relationships. So women are very much pushed or driven maybe by elements of culture or society towards trying to always upgrade, or what they see is get an upgrade in the way by looking for the man who can provide more resources. But if you can't be happy with the person who you're with, switching them for somebody else is probably not going to solve the problem, because all problems are personal problems, right? I mean, your problems are your problems, and you're going to carry them with you wherever you go, and the same shit that you're dealing with in your present relationship, you probably still have to deal with something similar in another relationship if you have another relationship, because the basics of life are pretty similar wherever we go, right? If you look around at how the world is within Western culture, you can say that there's a lot of differences about the way people live their lives, but everyone gets up in the morning and goes to work and has an education, or tries to get an education, and tries to find a good job, and we're all sort of traveling on a pretty similar kind of journey, I think. But I think that the relationships that we form when we're younger probably have a greater effect on us, and there's always going to be some level of connection there with people. You can't just like block someone out of your mind, right? That you're always going to think about them from time to time. They're always going to pop into your head. You're always going to remember certain times and things that people experiences that you had, places that you went, and excuse me, my daughter's just come out onto the balcony here.
It's fine.
What's up? Can I help with something? You okay? You okay? Okay, you want me to go inside? I'll be inside in a minute, okay? Okay. That's an egg. Yes. Do you want to take the egg inside? Yeah, go and take it to your brother. Okay. So sorry about that. Yeah. It's hard breaking up, and I don't think we ever really disconnect from people. I think that we just sort of have less connection, and maybe people fade into the background, but they're sort of still there. The relationships that we have always form part of the scenery of our life. It's still there in the background. And even when we have new relationships, we carry into the new relationship the successes and failures of our previous relationships. And I think the point that you made about what women are looking for is a cultural problem that we have, where values systems have changed, and what was perhaps a stronger moral element of society in the past has become an ethical thing in the present. And what that means is that ethics are cultural norms that can be changed over time. And we live in a society where the media is very much saying, hey, you can go out and do whatever you want. You don't have to worry about anything. If you're a woman, you don't have to worry about, hey, take these pills. You don't have to worry about getting pregnant. And, you can have a career the same as a man, even though at some point you've got to stop and have babies and a family and so on. It's sort of presenting this sort of that women can live exactly the same lives as men can, and I think that
that's true.
We have to understand that there are fundamental differences there. That in essence, men tend to be slightly more logical about things. Women tend to be slightly more emotional. Men tend to talk about the facts. They're the ones building the motors and the engines, and the women are the people connecting and dealing with how they feel and what seems to be, and it's difficult to. It's always difficult to find the right person, and it's always difficult to come together with another person when the man is thinking a certain way and the woman is thinking another certain way. I don't think the perfect relationship exists, but I think that we build as we go along, maybe with things like that. Does that make sense to you?
Absolutely. Everything that you said made perfect sense.
Makes some kind of sense. Well, here's another element. Okay, the person as an artist. You talked about this girl being an artist and being involved with musicians. And I had a music company for 10 years where I worked I worked promoting different music groups. And I can tell you that the artists are the hardest people to deal with in the world, because they're they're like on constant emotional tripwire.
Yeah.
To be in that artist frame of mind, to be a musician, to be trying to convey these feelings and emotions all the time, it's just like to be walking around bleeding, basically. And it's really hard to get anything. What would I say? Any kind of logical progression and sort of steps forward with people in that area. And it's really nice to focus on the artist side of the person, but you've also got to focus on what are you going to do with your art? How are you going to build a career out of it? How are you going to take logical steps? How are you going to protect yourself in the process? And people, there's this dream that I guess a lot of people have when they're young, that they're going to create this art and everyone's going to love it, and that it doesn't happen. Most art is just completely ignored. And I think realistically most people are artists most of the time, but most of what they do is just not seen by most people, because there's art in solving a problem, there's art in making a plan, there's art in cooking a meal correctly.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's art in being able to choose the right clothes to wear when you go out. There's art in saying the right thing at the right time to the right person. Yeah. It's not just, oh, here are some words that I wrote and you need to sort of appreciate what I've written. It's like, well, no, we're kind of all creative as human beings, but we just create in different ways, and society tends to appreciate some of it and just ignore all. And everybody's got some element of the artist inside of them, but you sort of have to connect with people a little bit more to find out what that really is. So there's kind of an artist in all of us, and just separating someone and saying, well, this person is an artist, it's like, well, no, we're all creating. Yeah. We're all creating it, and if it's good art and useful art, and maybe it's technological art, right? Maybe someone's building a computer program.